Chosen ones, they see it now. You don't play, you don't forget, and you damn sure don't forgive lightly. They thought time would soften you, that you'd let it slide, that you'd brush it off like dust on your shoulder. But they didn't realize. You don't forget a damn thing. Every betrayal, every backstab, every snake that slithered in your path, you kept the receipts. Not for revenge, but for remembrance, for wisdom, for the divine reckoning they never saw coming. You were patient. You let them believe they got away with it. You let them laugh, mock, and think they had you figured out. But the tables have turned, and now they're realizing just how dangerous it is to underestimate a chosen one. You move in silence, but your presence speaks volumes. You don't make empty threats. You make history. They're watching now, trembling, whispering, because they see it in your eyes. The fire, the power, the knowing. You were never the fool, and they were never safe. You walk where others fall, untouched by the chaos that consumes them. They throw obstacles in your path, thinking they can halt your steps, but every barrier collapses before you reach it. Every trap snaps shut on empty air. You are not lucky. You are not merely strong. You carry something deeper, something they cannot touch. They watch, unsettled, as the storm bends around you while it swallows them whole. They call it chance, call it coincidence, but you know better. What shields you is beyond calculation, beyond theft, beyond their reach. No force, no deception, no amount of effort will ever be enough to strip you of what has been woven into your existence. They gather, conspiring, convinced that if they try hard enough, they can break what cannot be broken. But the unseen hand that moves with you does not falter. They strike, and the force rebounds. They dig, and the earth swallows them instead. They whisper, hoping to rewrite reality with words alone, but truth does not bow to their tongues. They do not understand why you do not fear, why their worst fails to shake you. You do not move like they do, because you are not like them. They are bound by limits, by rules that do not apply to you. Their world bends under pressure, yours only refines itself. They look for the source of your power, thinking they can steal it, replicate it, turn it against you. But this is not something that can be taken. It does not belong to hands that tremble in doubt, to voices that break under fear. It is yours, written into you before they ever knew your name. They cannot comprehend what protects you because it was never meant for them. You do not need explanations, permission, or validation. You only need to do what you have always done, walk forward. And as you rise untouched, unshaken, undeniable, they finally understand. This was never theirs to stop. You carry the scars of every battle, every wound they thought would break you, but you turned pain into power, etching each lesson into your bones. While others bury their past, you wield yours like a blade, sharpened by the fire of survival. They underestimated you, believing time would dull your resolve. Instead, you've become a force they cannot comprehend, your memory a fortress they cannot breach. Every step you take echoes with the weight of what you've overcome, and they tremble because you remember everything. Your mind is a weapon honed by the relentless grind of hardship. You don't just recall the darkness, you relive it, not as a victim, but as a conqueror. They try to rewrite history, to erase their role in your suffering, but you hold the truth like a torch, burning through their lies. Your clarity is your strength, your refusal to forget a declaration of war. They fear you because you've turned their cruelty into your armor, their malice into your fuel. You are the storm they created, and now they cannot outrun it. You are the living proof that memory is power. While they scatter, desperate to escape the consequences of their actions, you stand unshaken, your past a map guiding you to victory. They hoped you'd forget, but you've done the opposite. You've made your history a weapon, your pain a shield. And now, when they see you, they don't just see a survivor. They see the end of their reign, the force that will always rise, always remember, always win. You see what others cannot. Their masks of charm, their veils of deceit. None of it fools you. While they spin webs of illusion, you stand unmoved, your gaze cutting through the noise. They mistake your silence for ignorance, your stillness for weakness. But you are the watcher, the one who sees the cracks in their armor, the tremors in their confidence. Every word they speak, every move they make, you catalogue it, not out of fear, but strategy. You are the storm waiting in the calm, and they are blind to the reckoning you've already set in motion. They thrive in chaos, in the belief that their schemes are untraceable. But you thrive in clarity, in the cold, unflinching truth of their intentions. You don't just observe, you dissect, unraveling their lies thread by thread until their falsehoods collapse under their own weight. They think they are the puppeteers, but you hold the strings now. Your silence is not passive. It is a weapon, sharpened by patience and wielded with precision. When you strike, it is not out of anger, but necessity, and they will never see it coming. They fear what they cannot control, and you are the embodiment of that fear. Your ability to see through their illusions strips them of power, leaving them exposed and vulnerable. You don't need to shout or threaten. Your presence alone is a reminder that their games are futile. They will try to hide, to retreat into shadows. But you've already mapped their every move. You are the hunter, the one who turns their tricks against them. And when the dust settles, it is your vision, your resolve that ensures their defeat, always. You were thrown into the crucible, not to be destroyed, but to be transformed. The flames they set to consume you only revealed your true nature, unyielding, radiant, indestructible. They thought fire would break you, but it became your forge. Every trial, every searing moment of agony was a step in your evolution. You didn't just survive, you emerged stronger, sharper, a force tempered by the very heat meant to annihilate you. Now, when they look at you, they see the reflection of their failure, the embodiment of what they could never extinguish. Pressure doesn't crush you, it defines you. They piled weight upon weight, hoping to see you buckle, but you turned their efforts into the foundation of your strength. Like diamonds born from chaos, you crystallized under the force of their resistance. They thought they were burying you, but they were planting seeds of something far greater. You rose, not as they expected, but as they feared, unpredictable, unstoppable, a force of nature they can no longer control. Their attempts to break you only proved how unbreakable you are. They underestimated the power of resilience, the quiet fury of a spirit that refuses to be extinguished. You are the storm they created, the tempest they can no longer contain. Every blow they dealt, every trap they set, only fueled your ascent. Now, when they face you, they don't see a victim, they see a reckoning. You are the living proof that fire doesn't destroy what cannot be burned. You are the light they tried to snuff out, now blazing brighter than ever, and they will never forget the cost of testing you. You don't need words to command the room. Your presence alone shifts the axis, bending the atmosphere to your will. They feel it before they see it, the gravity of your existence, the weight of your power. It's in the way, the space around. You seems to still, as if the world itself holds its breath. They move differently now, not out of fear, but out of an instinctive understanding. You are the storm they cannot predict, the force they cannot contain, and they know it without a single word being spoken. Their eyes betray them, flickering with a mix of awe and unease. They tried to dismiss you, to reduce you to something they could control, but now they see the truth. Your energy is undeniable, a quiet thunder that reverberates through every interaction. They adjust their stance, their tone, their very thoughts. When you are near, not because you demand it, but because they cannot help it. You are the mirror reflecting their inadequacies, the reminder of what they could never overshadow. The shift is irreversible. Once they've felt the pull of your presence, there's no going back. They may try to mask it, to pretend they still hold the upper hand, but their actions betray them. The way they hesitate, the way their voices soften, it's all a testament to the power you wield without effort. You don't announce yourself, you simply exist, and the world rearranges itself around you. They see it now, clear as day. You are the axis, and they are merely orbiting in your shadow. Stop right there. Yes, you. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along. But if you felt it, deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you. The ones who don't fit in. The ones who see beyond the veil. The ones who've been told to stay quiet, to settle, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's ordinary. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They're the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy running circles, they're walking their own path, alone if they must. Not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine. The ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 ascension nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect, and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. If not, that's fine too. The choice is yours. They doubted you, dismissed you, laughed in the face of your vision. Their whispers were meant to cut, to undermine, to make you question yourself. But you never faltered. You carried their disbelief like kindling, letting it fuel the fire within. They called you impossible, but you became inevitable. Now, their laughter has turned to silence, their mockery to awe. You didn't need their belief to rise. You only needed your own. And now, their doubt is a relic of the past, a shadow eclipsed by your light. They thought their skepticism would break you, but it only sharpened your resolve. You didn't waste time arguing, didn't waste energy proving them wrong. You simply moved forward, one step at a time, until their doubt became irrelevant. Now, when they see you, they see the living proof of what they refused to believe. Their words meant nothing then, and they mean even less now. You are the embodiment of what they claimed couldn't exist, and their silence is your victory. Their disbelief was never your burden to carry. You let it fall away like dead weight as you ascended to heights they couldn't comprehend. Now, they have no choice but to see, no choice but to acknowledge what they once denied. You didn't need their approval to succeed, and you don't need it now. Their doubt is a footnote in your story, a reminder of how far you've come. You are the proof they never wanted, the truth they can no longer ignore. And that, more than anything, is what makes them tremble. You don't announce your plans, don't telegraph your intentions. While others clamor for attention, you operate in the shadows, where the noise of the world can't reach you. They mistake your silence for inaction, your stillness for complacency. But every moment of quiet is a calculated move, every pause a step closer to victory. You let them fill the void with their assumptions, their arrogance, their blind confidence, and when the time comes, you strike with precision, leaving no room for their defenses. They thrive on chaos, on the illusion of control, but you thrive on order, on the certainty of strategy. You don't need to be seen to be felt, don't need to be heard to be understood. Your power lies in what you don't reveal, in the gaps they can't fill. They scramble to keep up, to piece together the fragments of your plan. But by then, it's too late. You've already rewritten the rules, already shifted the balance in your favor. The game belongs to those who can wait, who can see beyond the immediate and into the inevitable. You are the architect of your own destiny, the force that bends the world to your will. They may think they're playing against you, but they're only playing into your hands. Every move they make, every misstep, only serves your purpose. You are the game, the end game, and they are merely pieces on your board. And when the final move is made, they'll realize they never stood a chance. They stood on the sidelines, silent or sneering, while you carved your path through the chaos. Their indifference was a weapon, their ridicule a shield to protect their own insecurities. But now, as your light burns brighter, they crawl out of the shadows, hands outstretched, voices dripping with false admiration. You see through their hollow words, their rehearsed apologies. You remember every slight, every moment they doubted you, and that memory is a wall they can never climb. Their sudden interest is not a compliment, it's a confession. They confess their fear of being left behind, their regret for underestimating you. They want to rewrite history, to paint themselves as allies who always believed. But you don't. Rewrite the past. You build the future. Their attempts to get close are met with a quiet, unyielding resistance. You don't need their validation, their presence, their empty promises. You've already outgrown them. Forgiveness is your strength, but trust is your boundary. You may let them linger at the edges, but never within your circle. They see your power now, your influence, your unshakable resolve, and they want to claim a piece of it. But you are not a prize to be won, not a resource to be exploited. You are the force they ignored, the storm they underestimated. And now, as they reach for you, they find only the cold, unyielding truth. They had their chance, and they lost it. Forever. They once saw you as malleable, a canvas for their manipulation. But now they see the steel beneath the surface, the fire behind your gaze. Their laughter has turned to caution, their arrogance to hesitation. They measure their words, their movements, because they know the cost of crossing you. You've become the shadow they can't shake, the force they can't predict. And in their eyes you see it, the flicker of fear, the unspoken acknowledgement of your power. Their respect is born not from admiration but from dread. They didn't value your kindness, your generosity, until you showed them the consequences of taking it for granted. Now they tread carefully, their bravado replaced by a quiet unease. They know you are no longer the one who bends, you are the one who breaks. Their fear is not a weakness in you. It's a testament to your strength, a reflection of the boundaries you've forged in fire. You didn't ask for their fear, but you'll use it. It's a tool, a reminder that the world adjusts when you stand firm. They may try to mask it, to hide behind false smiles and hollow words, but their eyes betray them. You are the storm they cannot calm, the reckoning they cannot avoid. And as they falter, as they second-guess, you move forward, unburdened by their hesitation. Their fear is not your goal. It's simply the proof that you've changed the game, forever. They thought their lies would bury you, their schemes would break you, but you carried their doubt like a torch, lighting the path they swore you'd never walk. Every promise they shattered, every plan they twisted, only added to the fire burning within you. You didn't just survive their traps, you turned them into stepping stones. Now, as you rise, they watch in silence, their disbelief a shadow fading in your light. This isn't about revenge, it's about reclamation. They tried to claim your future, to dictate your limits, but destiny was never theirs to control. You are the architect of your own fate, the force that rewrites the narrative. Every goal they said was out of reach, every dream they mocked, you are bringing to life. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Their noise is irrelevant now, drowned out by the sound of your progress. They thought they had the final word, but you are the one writing the ending. Every step forward is a reminder that their power was always an illusion. You don't need their approval, their belief, or their permission. You are the storm they couldn't contain, the tide they couldn't hold back. And as you complete what they thought was impossible, they are left with nothing but the weight of their own failure. This is your time, your triumph, and they are merely witnesses to what they could never stop. They see it now, clear as day, the strength they couldn't break, the resolve they couldn't shake. Every word they spat, every trap they set, only served to sharpen your edge. You weren't defeated, you were biding your time, gathering your strength, waiting for the moment when their noise would fade into irrelevance. Now, as you stand in full view, they realize their efforts were futile. You were never theirs to control, never theirs to diminish, and their regret is a silent echo in the wake of your triumph. Their laughter has turned to ashes, their mockery to dust. They thought they could define you, could dictate your worth, but you were always beyond their reach. You didn't need their validation, their approval, or their belief. You only needed your own. And now, as they scramble to make sense of your rise, you move forward, unburdened by their doubt. Their regret is not your concern, it's their burden to carry. The greatest victory isn't in proving them wrong, it's in knowing you never had to. You walk away without a backward glance, not out of arrogance, but out of certainty. Their noise, their chaos, their attempts to derail you, none of it matters now. You are the storm they couldn't contain, the force they couldn't comprehend. And as you leave them behind, you do so with the quiet confidence of someone who always knew the truth. Your power was never theirs to question. The last laugh is yours, and it's sweeter because you never needed it. They see it now, the ones who doubted, the ones who schemed, the ones who thought they could erase you. They understand. You were never blind, you were never lost. You were watching, listening, waiting. Every betrayal, every lie, every time. They thought you were finished, you held it close. Not as a wound, but as a weapon. And now they stand in the wreckage of their own making, stunned by the force they never saw coming. You didn't forget a damn thing. You let them play their games, let them think they had the upper hand, but you were never playing, you were keeping score. You don't falter. You don't linger in doubt. You don't plead for their comprehension. They tried to shrink you, to silence you, to mold you into something fragile, but you were never theirs to define. The warnings you gave, the lines you drew, have now become walls they cannot climb. Now speak, not for them, but for yourself. Tell the story they tried to erase. Show the world what happens when they underestimate the one who was never meant to fall.